I'm also a 2-time marathon finisher, first of which was to fundraise for Hoops and Homework. All of a sudden, the kids start coming in, and this little Spitfire, angel-faced little Spitfire named Priscila, walks in, dumps her backpack on the ground, and just says, "Nobody talk to me. I've had a day." And within minutes, I saw the teachers at Hoops and Homework kind of engage her, settle her down, and completely turned her day around. A couple minutes later, she was engaging, she was getting her homework done, and her mood had completely changed. And that, to me, kind of sold everything. It told me everything I needed to know about Hoops and Homework, because had there not been that center around, she probably would have just gone home. I know in that neighborhood, I was a latchkey kid. I know a lot of kids probably are, but she would have just kind of gone home and stewed, and there would have been no wholesome environment. So that told me everything I needed to know, and I just fell in love with Hoops and Homework at that point, and fundraised, I think it was about $8,000 or $9,000 that, right, Herb? So I raised more money than I ever thought I could, because it was just so easy to fall in love with Hoops and Homework.
What happened towards the very end of the race where you were going to give up, and what were you thinking at the very end?
Towards the end, after we hit all of the heartbreak hills, and we were having to actually walk up single file because there was so much flooding, I was miserable. My knee hurt. I wanted to give up. I never wanted to sit down more in my life. And I just remembered Priscila. She had a day. I was having a day. And if Hoops and Homework can help her, maybe they can help me too. And we, by the grace of God, she helped me get to the end of that finish line. And in my first meeting, somebody brings up the idea of building a new playground at Interfaith, because we weren't able to take the kids to that playground because it was in such rough shape, and because of safety reasons. So my very first meeting, they said, "Oh yeah, we got a grant from Kaboom to build a playground. So Priscilla, you want to take care of that?" And I was essentially voluntold to take on the playground. As I was working to build my business up, it was an incredibly rough summer. It was a lot of work, but the board really came together. We made it happen. I've probably worked harder than I've worked any other summer, with the exception of my mayoral run. And we got it done. By October, we engaged the community. The kids designed the playground that they wanted. We got the kids together from the center. They got to they actually chose the equipment. The parents were a part of the conversation. And we had over 200 people on the day of the build show up. And within hours, we put a new playground over for these kids. Myself, Cheryl, and I decided it was like Christmas. So we went out and wore Christmas sweaters the entire day. It was a couple of days that were really rough. The 2 days before, it rained, so it slowed everything down. But we had an amazing outpouring from the community to come together and make this build happen.
I got involved because I know the importance of this program in the neighborhoods where they're located. I grew up going to Poussin Road every summer because my grandparents lived there. My aunts and uncles grew up there. My niece and nephew lived with my grandmother for a long period of time, and they attended Hoops and Homework every day after school. So I would go there and pick them up, and it was like such a great place and an outlet for them to have in the community, because if they didn't go there, they would have been just hanging out in the neighborhood. So Hoops and Homework gave them the opportunity to go somewhere, do some like extracurricular activities, get a healthy snack, interact with kids in the neighborhood, do some artistic things. It was just a great outlet, something I wanted to get more involved with. I think academically, like we're trying to do a lot of things to get the kids more at the level of their peers in the classroom. I don't know the exact statistics, but I would say that the kids in these communities, kids that come from the backgrounds that we have at our center, need the extra support from the program that they're not getting at home. So our teachers and our board tries to work with the school system on enrichment, things to do. We're always trying to strive and get tutors or volunteers to come in, whether it's helping with homework or helping with reading. Right now we have a program, a partnership with Babson College, and we're working with mentors for our students to, you know, do a reading dialogue during remote learning where they sit with college students and they do some comprehension exercises. So after they read through a book, they sit with the teachers, they do some comprehension. We have a staff member that's going through and creating activities surrounded around STEM. So we're trying to figure out different ways for our kids to engage while still having fun after the remote learning time period. And I think we're doing our best, and it's like something that's important for these kids, important for our community. Recently, we as a board decided that it's important for the kids to come over and start their day at the program doing remote learning. So now the kids get there at 8 o'clock. They have the breakfast with our staff, like staff's there, like supervising, obviously. And then they go into remote learning. And while they're doing remote learning, they have the help and assistance of 2 staff members there, making sure they can log onto the computers, making sure they're sitting and doing their schoolwork. We're engaged with the Framingham Public School System on their schedule, so we know when there's breaks, and we know when each student has the time to like sit and do maybe a puzzle or a crossword puzzle or like some sort of fidget activity, so they're not being disruptive amongst their peers who are still in remote learning classes. So from 8 to 12, they're strictly remote learning, depending on breaks, etc. And then from 12 to 1, they have a break for recess and lunch. And then they come back and they do remote learning from 1 to 3:30, which is kind of the same deal where they're getting remote learning, they're getting extra help while they're remote learning. And then we shift gears and we go into an after school program where it's from 3:30 to 5. We do some like enrichment activities of some sort, or we take them outside if it's like a nice day, to give them a break from like the remote learning piece of things. But we still want to make sure that we're doing the enrichment piece. So reading is very important, and that's kind of been our focus right now, aside from STEM. So from 5 to 5:30, we're focused on reading, whether it's with the select kids that are doing the Babson College program, or kids just reading amongst themselves or to the staff members. So we're very, busy.
Okay, some people may not know what STEM means. Do you want to explain STEM?
So science, technology, engineering, and math. So it's I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of a way that teachers in school are interacting when it comes to math nowadays, and almost like connecting the dots around science and how everything intertwines. So we're very fortunate to have someone on our staff that has an engineering background and is able to go in and kind of create, which he loves to do, create these activities for our students. So we're very fortunate to have him, and it takes a lot of relief off our backs because we know that he knows what he's doing and he's able to build activities that keep the kids engaged and they're fun, but they're also learning something. And we're lucky to have someone from the community that's one of our site coordinator who lives in the community over there. I know she's excited to have a place for the kids that's going to be able to bring in 10 to 12 more kids than we were before, which is a big amount. I mean, small numbers when you think about the community, but and in a total, but in terms of our giving back, a big give back from us. So we were excited. I mean, it's a nice, awesome facility. We have it's where our program director will be housed once they get here. So that's going to be nice to have a program director on site with an office. We have computers for the kids. We have now a TV where if we do some remote learning classes and we have like volunteers that can't come into the center, but they want to do something with the kids, we figured out a way to do like yoga classes online, like where the kids can be on TV and doing yoga with an instructor versus like, you know, a YouTube video. So there's more interaction. Yeah, it's great. I mean, the biggest plus is the fact that we're going to be able to take in 10 to 12 more kids, not focused on like the 20 or 30 kids in our facility, but we try to do things outside the box to kind of help the community in a whole. So like another example of that is the basketball court. So building a basketball court for now, like there's a basketball court in this community where kids can go play basketball, and it's a full court. It has it's a full court. So the playground, the basketball court, and we also have a box where we put donated books in. So if a kid wants to go grab a book that doesn't go to our program, they can go to this box and take books that we're no longer using. So it's great. If it weren't for the donations, the donors who donate today, we wouldn't exist. So I think that says it all. Like we need the donations to have the program run effectively, number one, which would be the help of the program director, who would be kind of pulling all the strings to make sure we're in order. We need to pay our site coordinators, our staff, to run the program effectively. We need to be able to pay for snacks, tools, whatever it is. Like we need the donations to stay sustainable. And I think that the donations also help us think bigger and brighter. Like the more money we get, the more we can do for the community. So right now we're in 2 locations, but if we had more, we could be in more locations. And there's so many in Framingham alone that deserve a program like this, that deserve an after school program that's neighborhood based, because that's the key. There's a lot of kids there's a lot of resources out there, and there's a lot of programs that are there for kids, but none of them are neighborhood based. And that's kind of the key to Hoops and Homework. Having a program where the parent doesn't have to worry about having a car to get their kids to have a safe place to go after school. Hoops and Homework kind of gives the community an outlet to where you have a safe place to go after school, and you can walk there, and after you can walk home and you get a healthy snack. And or other organizations like Loving Spoonbills, where they drop off food for our neighborhood. So like it goes back to the parents, and it's fresh food for them to cook for their families. So there's a lot of things we do community wise that is outside of Hoops and Homework, or bigger than just the kids in Hoops and Homework. And we want to continue to do that, and we can't do that without donations.
Very nice. And what about the YMCA? Do they deliver food?
The YMCA is a great partner for us. The partnership with the YMCA has grown, and it's so visible at how important they are to our community. And I love the fact that they're trying to get their feet more embedded on the south side of Framingham, which I think is something that has needed to happen for a long time. And the fact they're utilizing Hoops and Homework as an outlet, and other organizations, but Hoops and Homework being one of them, as an outlet where they're providing lunch to our students every day. So our lunches come from the YMCA, and they also help us on a few other things, which I think is amazing.
The kids come in about anywhere from between 8 and 9 in the morning. We get them set up with the remote learning. We help them throughout the day until school gets out with remote learning. Afterwards, we either do STEM style, different activities with them. We also have a box program of exercise we do with the kids 5 days a week. Yep. We get Love and Spoonful donations of food. We got a bagel place out of Westboro donating bagels once a week to us. I just love working with the kids, helping them with whatever they need. Nice crowd of kids I have from age 5 to 12. Did crystals, we grown crystals. We did the thing with the battery and the 2 electrical wires to make it work, the light turn on. We've done that with them. And they get interested in stuff like that.